Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through the SuperCoach trade targets for round 8, going through the rookies in a very bland week like it was in fantasy, but in SuperCoach it could be even worse, as we might not have any rookie on the bubble actually this week playing. And so it could be going early. It could be just waiting and not actually grabbing a rookie this week. I don't know what the right player is, to be honest with you, a day or two out from the first game of the round. But before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's jump into this video. So, as you can see on screen, I currently have it actually on the wrong setting. Let's go to break even. Now, those watching along on YouTube will see the rookies actually, I've set it so that I don't go and put what is probably going to be the top couple of rookies choices in Buzzling and Huswaite there, because they're not on the bubble just yet. They will be there next week. I can guarantee you they are going to be, unless somehow one of the tools at Freo goes down. Huswaite and Buzzling are probably going to be the two rookies to go to potentially next week. Even though they have very sketchy job security anyway. But Oscar McDonald 119.9 has shown, I think you can do it on both ends. If we just go to this DFS and check on Oscar McDonald, we know that Luke Jackson is a test to play this week. So let's just quickly bring up Oscar McDonald stats for you. 1.5 goals a game. He has kicked 3 goals so far this year. And in 2024, he played for Freo down back, I believe, and now has done a couple of games up forward. So, and he's done a little bit of ruck work as well. Not really doing much in the ruck, but a couple of hitouts is still better than none. As well as having 9 touches in both games, as well as 9 and 7 non-disposal work, so marks and tackles there. So the goals also help as well. So 60 fantasy points and 58 fantasy points. If we swap that over to SuperCoach here, you'll see a very similar type of scoreline. 67 average because he had a 50 and then an 85. So we had an 85 last week. And so he comes in with a minus 64 break even, which that is some cash, but then again, it's very likely that if he does play, it is 1 week, and 1 week for potentially 50k. I don't know if that's valuable, to be honest with you. So that's why I don't really want to grab McDonald at the moment. Sandy Brook, I don't think plays just yet. Erasmus, forward mid, don't think he's going to play, given that he didn't play last week, but would be interesting if he did play this week, because I feel like he'd have almost better job security. But then again, you do, I think, have some Freo guys in the long run coming back, so, and he would always be a sub risk anyway. Flynn is a guy that you should have picked up last week. If you didn't pick him up, you probably shouldn't be going that areas, because minus 45 break even, it was obvious last week. He's still going to make another probably 100k in the next 2 weeks, but you missed out on 80k last week. Camberelli won't play, I don't think. Elijah Hewitt minus 32 break even, and he is honestly somewhat saving my year. Minus 32 break even. If he goes 60 or so, then that'll be about 40k cash generation, and he's going to probably, him and Cleary are going to get up to 300k and almost combine for me for like potentially a rank in themselves or something like that in 2, 3, 4 weeks time. That's kind of the area that I'm looking at. So there's that. So he's outstanding, and honestly, you could go there. I think there is a path in which you go to a Hewitt, but also we've seen him basically outside of the 97. If he isn't sub, he's going to go about 60, and if we just put 60 into the projector here, you'll see that he basically tops out at about 290k and 70k. So you really do need a spike score against Richmond. A spike score of 80 against Richmond helps him to get to that 307k, 306k. That would put him what he would be at against be priced at, sorry. His break even would hit the 60 and not really move, and you get him to 307k. So you really do need a couple of just spike games here. To be all honest with you, that would get him to that 320, 325k range. Like if you somehow kept him basically until his bye, he could be 330k. So He's probably better than the other rookies, but you're spending another 100k, which just is so detractful from the move. So I wouldn't be doing that. Tunstall, I just don't see him getting a spot, especially with Kitty Coleman coming back. So I just don't think he gets the spot. Carroll is fine, and he's going to make cash again if he survives selection. They play on the Saturday, so it will be just a straight up we'll know on Thursday. So hopefully he survives, because if he goes another 60, 2 more weeks of 60, he gets himself up to 218k, which is just job done basically. And yeah, I could see myself holding him basically until Essendon or so, where he's like 255, 260k or so, and then you just dump him then if he's still surviving till then, and that would be absolutely huge. And then that's pretty much it until we talk about the one gamers here in Henry Hustwaite. What a game he had, and I think he is genuinely fieldable, to be honest with you. He had an outstanding game of a 72, and we've seen in the past, if we go to his career stats against opponents when I don't think he is sub, I'm actually just gonna chuck him up here because it will be a lot easier to show you the non-sub games. When he is non-sub, let's just look at this. When he is non-sub, he averages 68 in SuperCoach, which is absolutely huge numbers. And he actually averages 77.5 in 2 games, mind you, when he isn't sub but gets a midfield role. And he would have been on track for, I can tell you, this was a sub out game, but he would have been on track here and here. Here, especially another game here where he had high CBAs, and this one to a certain extent. So I have a feeling he's definitely at least a 65, 70 guy. And for 121k, I think you can be fine with it going here, going early on him. I think I'd rather go early on him than the likes of Buslinger, who we will talk about now, who scored a 57 in the end. So he actually did score all right. Much better SuperCoach than Fantasy. Gets that -8. Just job security for him. We know that the Buslinger took over from Liam Jones's role, and Liam Jones could come back any week, whereas we know with Hustwaite that he took over from Connor Nash, and that is another 3 weeks away. Nash was a 4-weeker, I'm pretty sure. That's still another 3 weeks away. So that'll be the 2 price rises at least. And then he potentially could take over from a Ward or someone like that. So yeah, we'll see about him. But he was definitely, I would definitely prefer Hustwaite over him. And that's pretty much the rookies. Then we go to the coach's choice, and we can pick a band in which I actually am a part of, the top 10%. So if we go to top 10% and we go to round changes, Hustwaite, the obvious one at the moment. I feel like that's a move I'm probably going to be close to making. These top 2 guys are going to be close to being the guys that I choose, as they are just obvious. I feel like Rankin is an interesting one. I want to say that he's averaging 103. Petrarca is averaging, what's Petrarca averaging? If we just bring it up here, 95. So that's an interesting stat to look at that I actually prefer. If Petrarca didn't have West Coast, I just massively prefer Rankin. I just don't know. Rankin's going to cop Hewitt, so whether Petrarca is better in the short term than the likes of Rankin. We know that Chad Warner's probably going to cop the likes of Bedford. So it is this debate of this sort of small forwards, not small forwards, the forward listed players that are midfielders in Warner, Rankin and Petrarca this week. Lachie Neale is a guy that is probably bottoming out this week just because he went 139. He's got a break even of 79, is it? 79. So he's not going to get any lower than 560k. Which is probably a relief for owners, as he really did drop heavily with a 41, 133, 71 set of scores early on in the year, dropping 61k. So yeah, I think that Lachie Neale isn't going to get any cheaper. So if you like it, then go grab him if you already somehow have Petrarca and Rankin. As Lachie Neale could be a top 8 mid that you're getting for 560k, which is actually a pretty decent price. And then we talked about Warner, Matt Carroll. We already talked about Brayshaw, 666k. I just wouldn't be going there, to be honest. That is I know he is taking the mickey in the last 3-4 weeks here with 157, 120, 155, 135. But there's talks of a Windhager tag, as well as the fact that he has got a break even of 115. Even if he goes decent, he's only going to be going... You're basically getting him, obviously, for the score at that point. But there's a heavy, heavy chance that even if we just run this back and run a projection of like a 120, you'll see that his score starts... Also, his price really starts to slide a little bit in future. So he goes, makes a little bit of cash, but then drops all the way back down to sort of that 614k range. But if he has one bad game, a tag game, say this is 100 here also, then that is suddenly he's already down to that 614, 617k around about his buy anyway. And say he doesn't have a good game against GWS somehow, then I think that goes even further down to 605k. So I could see him falling very, very sharply. What's his lowest score of the year? Let's just bring up the lowest score of the year. His lowest score of the year is a 101. So if he just somehow did 100s, you would see him drop dramatically as well there. And that's pretty much it, I want to say, for the coach's choice and the trade-ins this week. And I'll just quickly, something that I didn't do on fantasy is the trade out. Most options, Davidson, Reed, and Ashcroft, getting rid of all the rookies here basically, and then Chera as well. So it is basically rookies. Max Holmes, I wouldn't be trading him out, to be honest with you. I know he's got a high break even, but we've shown in the past with the likes of Rosie, Horn Francis, to a certain extent Callahan. Who else has done it? Just trying to rack the brains with who's actually outdone their price point. Can't think of anyone else so far this year that's outdone it, but yeah, definitely many guys that have had a high break even. Players have traders have traded them out, and then they turn it around in a week, and it's suddenly that you almost need them back in. So yeah, I wouldn't be trading Max Holmes because I feel like he's got a big one in him. What did he do last year against Collingwood? Last year he went 118. Against GWS he went 134. If he does that, if he goes 118 and then 134 here, let's just check that for you guys. He is back at 517k and on the mend on the way back up. So yeah, I wouldn't be trading Holmes just yet, as I feel like it's just one good game away from him going and really being back into that sort of primo territory. He's averaging 101.7 as a defender. He's fine, I think, in the long run. But anyway, that is the video there going through all of the SuperCoach trade targets for round 8 with the rookies, the very bleak rookies, as well as the sort of triplet of forwards, primo price guys that are sort of that 5 to 8 bracket, and going through and sort of deciphering which one is the better option. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed it, there's other videos up that you can watch, and I'll see you guys back here on Thursday for my team reveals and my tips for round 8. So I'll see you guys in those videos later. Bye guys.